Good evening. My name is Alteric Bullock, and this is my video on the FAIR and Information Practice Principles. They're an internationally recognized foundational framework used to protect privacy and manage personally identifiable information responsibly. And it all stemmed from the Privacy Act of 1974, and it serves as a major framework for major data protection policies. And there are eight core concepts that are affiliated with the FIPPs. The first is transparency, which all institutions should remain transparent with updating and holding on to customer information to build a relationship of trust. Also, there's individual participation, which individuals should have a role in the process. This involves providing informed consent to use their personally identifiable information and offering them ways to access or correct their information in the event that there's a breach. The third is purpose specification. That's the reasons for collecting the PII, and that must be clearly articulated at the time of collection of customer data. The fourth is data minimization, which organizations should only collect, process, and utilize the information for what it should actually be used for. And any other relevant information that needs to be obtained, and it should not be solicited to any third parties without that customer's consent. The next one is use limitation, which data must be only used or disclosed for the purposes originally specified to the customer. And there should be no activities done without the customer's knowledge. You have data quality and integrity, which data must be accurate, relevant, complete, and up to date to ensure fairness to the individual whose information is being processed. The next one is security. That's basically organizations taking the necessary steps to ensure that customer data is secure and constantly checking for breaches to their networks to ensure that no customer information is solicited to the wrong parties or anything or misused for any purposes. And last but not least, accountability and auditing. That's organizations must establish internal controls to actively monitor, document, and enforce compliance with these privacy principles. The FIPPs are basically a guiding framework rather than a single enforceable law, and they can be adopted to various industries ranging from federal agencies to private research and healthcare organizations. The FIPPs are foundational high-level guidelines for handling personal data and basically maintaining accountability for any customer information that's within the company's networks. Unlike modern privacy laws and regulations, FIPPs are broad and aspirational rather than legally binding. And also they serve as the conceptual bedrock for enforceable legislation. And last but not least, FIPPs compare to other privacy mechanisms through privacy laws and regulations, such as GDPR and CCPA. FIPPs basically are the groundwork and the underlying philosophy for codifying those concepts into strict, legally enforceable mandates with specific penalties. For example, the FIPP's principle of individual participation is reflected as legally actionable, basically a right to erasure or right to know in the GDPR and the California Privacy Protection Data Agency. And then also company privacy policies. That's a privacy policy in an organization, basically that they have to adhere to maintain that relationship of trust with all customers who have personally identifiable information within that company's database or their network. And basically, FIPPs help to dictate the principles that should govern data and data handling, privacy policies serving as the actionable implementation and disclosure of those principles for consumers, and also information security standards such as ISO 27001 and NIST. There's basically security frameworks representing the technical operational how to achieve data protection. FIPPs require that data be protected, but security frameworks dictate the technical controls for each organization needed to guarantee that protection. The FIPPs provide a foundational, internationally recognized framework for protecting personally identifiable information, as mentioned before, and federal agencies must put these principles into effect according to the bylaws in the United States or in other countries to ensure that customer data is highly protected, that there are strategies in place for in the event of any breaches, so that way customer information is not disseminated to any unknown third parties without the customer's consent. That is my presentation. Once again, my name is Altaric Bullock. Thank you.